Hi there, and welcome to our video on the short Assegai. So this first video is just going to be a little introduction on this awesome weapon. We'll do a little cutting and throwing at the end, and the next video we'll go over some techniques. I honestly think this is probably one of the best apocalypse weapons you can take. I know apocalypse, we're in the quarantine, yay, that you can take. Besides taking your sword or your firearm, machete perhaps, the short Assegai is pretty awesome to take. If you just take the head, and I would honestly strap 2 or 3 of these, just the head, onto my backpack. If something were to happen, I'd definitely take 2 or 3 of these, put them on my pack, and then move on and use and carry that. Probably make this a little bit shorter, make it into a walking stick, but you have a pretty good sizable weapon with that. The Assegai was made famous by the Zulus. It's a great weapon. It can be used as obviously a short melee weapon. The greatest advantage is it's got a lot of versatility. It's got two edges to cut with, and obviously it's got a good point. Something that people kind of miss is it's a pretty good tool because it does have 2 edges. Some call this a primary edge, and this is going to be the secondary edge or false edge. That's kind of what I'll call it, as a secondary edge. Obviously you have the point, but you have the flat too. You have the flat on both sides that you can just bash weapons with if you need to. It also has the shaft itself that you can use like a riot baton, and it has a good pommel. So lots of good uses with the Assegai. So the next video we'll go over some techniques, but I just wanted to give you just an introduction on the Assegai itself and its advantages. There's another kind of advantage is because it's got a spring temper on it, it's durable. So if things were to go bad, swords are fine-tuned weapons, and it requires a lot to sharpen them if something goes bad. These you can sharpen pretty easily with sandstone, or if you find a small rock. It doesn't take a whole lot because it's pretty mild, so it's easy to resharpen, and it's not that big. And here's the great thing is if this shaft breaks, you got the woods out here, go make yourself a new shaft, and putting the head back on is pretty easy. An extremely versatile weapon. So today we're going to focus on the short version. This is the short Assegai. Total length is about 3 feet, total length. Obviously the larger version is 6 feet plus. This is more of a melee weapon. Super good for short close quarter. If you're facing things like a hammer or a knife, a stick or anything like that, this is the king. Machetes, maybe that's a bigger problem. Obviously, if you got someone with a sword, an even bigger problem. But other than that, this is a pretty good tool for that. Another good thing that you can use this in conjunction with is a left-hand weapon. If you have that, it's pretty good. Probably better in the left hand to have a buckler or a small shield. I'm a huge fan of using our buckler, cold steel buckler, and putting that in your left hand and having this. The Zulus would have some kind of shield. They'd use a cowhide shield, but we're going to modify that a little bit and use just a buckler. And you can use your backpack or anything like that, but just something in your left hand. But you can also use it just like this. So great advantages. If you're going to train with the Assegai, I'd highly recommend getting another one. I know this is going to probably break your heart to grind these down, but I would get another Assegai just like this, and make sure the edges are dulled down and really take the tip off. Don't just round the tip a little bit, round the tip a lot, because the tip is so freaking dangerous. One small mistake, but there's nothing that can replace the actual Assegai itself. So training with this is paramount, just for your own. If you just want to do line recognition and just the flow of the weapon, you definitely need that. I put a stopper at the end, and this is just a leather stopper, and that's just so that you can have something so you don't slide your hand off. I kind of always like the stopper, so most of the Assegais I have will have a stopper. And then obviously get a training weapon. And we cold steel, we sell this spearhead. You just attach it, make it about the same length, put a stopper, and you can do different things as a training tool. Nothing can really, you got to spar with a weapon. So most of the most of the training and most of the things that we've done really come from sparring. So we use techniques based on Kali, Japanese swordsmanship, lots of different arts, but primarily it's Kali. We're not authentic. We're not going to show any authentic Zulu techniques. Although Lynn has trained with the Zulus and the Maasai, we just on our own trained a lot and sparred a lot with this. So the techniques we show you are just based on our experiences sparring with this weapon. I think it's a great, fantastic weapon, and obviously something you can easily carry with you. And again, it can be a primary weapon or a secondary weapon. You can have your swords and your machetes and all that, but this is definitely something you should put in your pack. So you have that. And another great advantage of this is it's a cutting weapon, it's a stabbing weapon, but it can also be thrown. It throws extremely well. So even though it's short, it doesn't have kind of the flight trajectory as a longer Assegai. This thing does throw pretty well. So we're going to show you some cutting and some throwing in this introduction, and then in the next video we'll just go over the other techniques. So here we go. All right, one thing I forgot to mention, one of the other weapons that Cold Steel makes that I think is awesome is the boar spear. The boar spear in and of itself, if it's on the long, the shaft is an incredibly awesome weapon. But I really like to put this on just the Assegai length, so that you're forming, or sorry, the very, very short Assegai length. So you have a 3-foot spear melee weapon with the boar spear. I mean, how awesome is that? Come on. It's wider. It does have a little bit more girth. The point is really dangerous, and it's really super solid. I kind of like the wings here. Yeah, if you hold on to it, that's another way to hold on to the weapon. Prevent your hand from running forward if that happens. I modified the shaft here a little bit to make it cooler looking. I haven't added my little stopper yet, but this is I think one of my primary weapons. Of course, I got to have a lot of primary weapons, but it's one of them. And again, you can take just the Assegai head or another boar spear head and just put that in your pack. They don't weigh a whole lot, so it's something that you can easily carry. And again, like I said, you can just find a shaft somewhere and put the head on, and you've got a pretty formidable weapon. And you can always change the length. On all the Assegais, there's no set length. It's dependent on you. So you can make a 3-foot, you can make a 4-foot walking stick, almost like a Joe. You can make a 5-foot, 6-foot spear, whatever you want. And that's what's great, is the versatility of these weapons here. So put that in your pack, okay? Because it's awesome. Now let's get to some chop sake. All right, here we go. Cutting with the Assegai. Pretty awesome. One more. I'm going to cut with the boar spear version of the Assegai, the short Assegai. See how this one cuts. Pretty good. One more.